Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that y'all can see our book. All right. So this is our book. We're still reading Year of the Book by Andrea Chang. Okay, so if you remember, our main character was Anna. And in chapter 1, it just kind of talked about how Anna was friends with the crossing guard, and it kind of gave a hint that maybe Laura and Allison, who she thinks are her friends, maybe aren't quite her friends. And she was writing her paper about perseverance and how she persevered to make the drawstring bag that she had for her lunch. And then in chapter 2, her mom and her went over to Mr. Shepherd's house, and she learned a little bit about Mrs. Shepherd before she passed away. And Anna realized that it's not really too bad going to work with her mom, because she gets to hang out with Mr. Shepherd, and she realized that he might need a little company. And so we're going to pick up here on chapter 3. It's called Chinese School. Mom is learning how to drive, so she's in the driver's seat and Dad sits next to her. Speed up, he says. You don't want all the other cars to pass you. It's okay, they can pass, Mom says, trying to move the car over. It feels like we're about to hit the curb. Be careful, Dad says, as Mom swerves around a pothole. Mom already failed the driver's test once. She said the tester was unfriendly. He even kicked the door closed with his foot. Dad said she should have complained, but Mom said that if the supervisor got mad, she'd never be able to pass the test. I'll keep practicing, she said. Then there will be no way I can fail. Mom hits the brake too hard at the red light and the car jerks. You should look farther ahead, Dad says. I'm starting to feel car sick. Finally, we turn into the driveway of the church that lets us use the basement for Chinese school. Me and Ken and Mom get out, and Dad slides over to the driver's seat. A group of kids is playing tag. Annie Linda sees us. Ni hao, she says, coming over and patting me and Ken on our heads. She's really not our aunt. We call all my mom's friends aunties. Auntie Linda says something about how beautiful Mom's dress is. It's the one from Mr. Shepherd, Mom explains. I know because I hear her say his name in English. Auntie Susan joins the conversation. After that, I can't understand what they're talking about. I wish I could because they're nodding and listening so hard to Mom's story. She lifts her leg and her arms. Auntie Linda and Auntie Susan look at me and smile. Mom must be telling them how Mr. Shepherd fell down and we hoisted him back to his wheelchair. Hey, Ken, a boy named Ryan says, tapping Ken on the shoulder. They go over and join the 2 other boys. A group of girls is talking by the door. Auntie Linda says, Anna, see the girl in the green skirt? That is my daughter, Camille. I nod. Camille, Auntie Linda shouts. Then she says something to her daughter in Chinese. Camille looks at me and waves. Her face looks friendly, but I don't know her, so I'm afraid to go over to the group. Instead, I open my book and read standing up. Y'all remember Anna really likes to read, and when her friends were a little mean to her and didn't want to play the game that she wanted to play, she was reading her book instead. A bell rings and we all go into one big room. Teacher Zen puts a Chinese character on the board. You can see that character right here. She starts talking all about it in Chinese, and I have no idea what she's saying. The other kids are taking out their notebooks and copying down the character. They already speak Chinese, so now they're learning to read and write, but I can only say a few things like ni hao for hello and shi for thank you. Dad always tells Mom to speak to us in Chinese, but she doesn't because we don't know what she's talking about. I take out my notebook and write Anna Wang on the top. Then I copy the character off the board. 2 lines across and 2 down, 1 long and 1 short. Tian. The teacher points to the character and counts to 4. Yi, Sun, Si. She's counting the lines, but what good is it to learn how to make the character if you have no idea what it means? What's it mean? I whisper to the girl next to me. Shh, she says. I'm almost done with my side of the mountain, but I don't like the last part. Sam's family is going to find him, and he'll have to go back and lead a normal, boring life. I try to think of another way that the story could go. He could never be found and just keep on living in the woods by himself, but that's unrealistic. His family would keep looking for him until they found him. Or he could be attacked by a bear, or he could freeze to death, but those are endings that don't usually happen in kids' books. Adult books are probably different because they don't worry about terrible endings. Jiwo, the teacher, is standing over me. Her voice is loud and I have no idea what she is saying. She has her hand out, but I don't know what she wants. The girl next to me points to my book. Give it to her, she whispers. My book? She nods. But it's a library book, and if I don't return it on time, we'll have to pay a fine and Mom will be mad. Plus, even though I can predict the ending, I still want to read it. Teacher Zhen is waiting. I close the book and hand it to her. Next, we listen to a rap song in Chinese. Some of the kids already know it and say the words with the rapper. I like the way it sounds, but I don't know what it's about. I stare at the cracks in the wall. One looks like the map of a river with a thick part in the middle and smaller tributaries branching out. Another looks like the profile of a person's face with a big nose sticking out. Laura and her brothers have upturned noses like that, but my nose is small and flat. Once, a boy in my class called me Chinese flatface, and I called him a big-nosed moose. At 11:30, a bell rings again, and Chinese class is finally over. Camille stands next to me. I didn't understand that song. Did you? She asks. I shake my head. I don't speak Chinese. I speak some, but that song is too fast. I don't speak any, I say. Neither does my dad. ABC? She asks. What? American-born Chinese? I nod. Mom has been talking to her friends the whole time. Her face looks happy and young. She never looks that way because she's worried that maybe she won't understand every little thing. But at Chinese school, she has so many friends. Ryan asks Ken if he can come over for the afternoon. Mom knows his mom. She says that would be fine. Nobody asks me if I can go anywhere. Teacher Zen took my book, I say. Mom pulls her eyebrows together. Why is that? I shrug. I don't know what she's talking about anyway. How can you learn Chinese if you don't listen? Mom goes into the classroom to talk to the teacher. They keep looking over at me. I bet Teacher Zen is telling Mom that I'm a naughty girl who doesn't pay attention. When Mom comes back, she hands me my book. Teacher Zen is very kind to give you another chance. I don't want another chance, I say. I don't want to go to Chinese school anymore. Then what will you do when we go to China? She asks. Dad manages and he doesn't know Chinese. And that is very difficult for him. A Chinese face, but no Chinese words is not easy. He could learn if he wanted. Mom shakes her head. A language is hard to learn when you're old, but when you're young, it is easy. Then why didn't you teach us? I asked. You could have been perseverant. See how she's bringing that back to her class project or class paper. Mom looks around, hoping that none of her friends hears the way I'm talking to my mother. She steps away from me like I am not her daughter. Dad pulls up to the curb and scoots over so Mom can sit in the driver's seat. She waits until all the other cars are gone before she pulls out of the parking lot. Speed up a little, Dad says once we're on the road. If you go under the speed limit, the other drivers get irritated. Mom pushes on the gas pedal and the car lurches forward, making my stomach turn. Mom doesn't say anything to me during lunch. She doesn't ask me if I want more noodles or milk to drink. After we're done eating, Dad goes to work and Mom makes herself flashcards for every single bone in the human body, with the word on one side and the definition on the other. She has to have all of them memorized before the test. I know that when she was a girl, she had to memorize Chinese characters every day, so she's used to making flashcards. The phone rings. It's Laura asking if I can come over. I bet she called Allison and Lucy first, and then when they couldn't play, she asked me. I can't, I say. I'm busy now. What are you doing? I have to think of something fast. Studying my Chinese, I say. I have a lot of characters to memorize. Characters? They're like words. So you can't come? No. Call me when you're done. Okay, I say, even though I know I won't. When I hang up, I take some flashcards and start copying characters out of the Chinese book. You are not friendly on the phone. Friendly to Laura on the phone, Mom says. She's not friendly to me either, I say. You shouldn't lie, Mom says. I didn't. I'm practicing my characters. I thought you don't want to learn Chinese. I changed my mind, I mumbled. You have to do the strokes in the right order, Mom said, showing me one of her flashcards. I think it looks okay, I say. You think you know everything. Then Mom mumbles something in Chinese. What does that mean? I ask. Impossible to translate, Mom says, turning back to her anatomy book. Suddenly, I really want to know Chinese. You think it's because she wants to know what her mom is saying about her? I take the file cards and the Chinese book into my room. Mom is right. I wasn't friendly to Laura, but Mom doesn't see her at school following Allison around like a puppy. The phone rings and I hear Mom speaking Chinese, so it must be Auntie Linda or Auntie Susan. She says my name, and I know she's telling her friend what a terrible daughter I am. Tears come to my eyes. I sit at my desk and look out the window. The leaves of the ginkgo tree across the street have turned yellow. I could write Mom a note and tell her I'm sorry, but I don't know exactly what I'm sorry for. Instead, I draw a picture of the ginkgo tree with the Jackson's house behind it. I get a cup of water from the bathroom and use the small paintbrush to fill my pencil lines with paint. Next to the metal watercolor tin is the Chinese book. I wonder if the glossary has the word for sorry. I look through the alphabet until I get to the S's. There it is, sorry. Dibuki, followed by 3 characters. You can see the characters here. I don't know what order to make the strokes in, but I copy the characters as well as I can to the bottom of the paper. Then I go into Mom and Dad's room and set the picture on their bed. And you can see here, she has the picture of the tree and the house and the word sorry. And you can kind of see how hers looks different from up here. And that's where we're going to stop for now. I will see y'all back for chapter 4.